You cannot heal in the same environment that created disease, right? Or illness or discomfort. Okay? The science of epigenetic is now very gaining traction, and like it's being talked about more and more. And essentially the science of epigenetic informs us about how what is above the gene, aka the environment that the gene find themselves in, both internally and externally, directly influence and impact the way the genes are going to be expressing themselves. What does that tell you about your home, or the quality of the nutrition and the hydration and the movement that you do and the quality of the sleep, right? Your basic life habits. What does that tell you about the power that lies in your own hands, about the possibility to create the most optimal state of being for yourself? Most fundamentally, and that this is something I share in my book, The Iron Guide to Freedom, the internal environment that we find ourselves in is primarily impacted by the way that we breathe. Okay? The internal environment, aka our blood, our different gases ratio, anyways. At the most fundamental level, our internal environment is impacted by the way that we breathe. Okay? The two main gases that the body is continuously in contact with is oxygen and carbon dioxide. When we inhale, our body naturally starts to release carbon dioxide out of the system so that the oxygen coming inside of the system has room to be. Okay? On the other hand, when we exhale, the body hold on to carbon dioxide. Okay? This is important because the more frequent our inhalation goes, aka hyperventilation, when we hyperventilate, it means that the frequency of our inhalation is more than our exhalation, right? Or inhalation being super pronounced with little or no exhalation. What does that do to our internal chemistry, right? Our internal biochemistry and the internal environment of the body? Well, in short, it creates a highly volatile environment, because the less carbon dioxide that we have inside of us means the more oxygen there will be. However, the important thing to understand is that oxygen, the muscle, the tissues, the organs, are what needs the oxygen. But however, the oxygen, when we inhale, gets transported throughout the whole system by the blood, right? More precisely, the red blood cells are the carrier of the oxygen throughout the system. But the more the oxygen stays stuck to the hemoglobin, aka the red blood cells, the more it starts creating oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? Let me ask you, have you ever noticed your car starting to rust, right? Or any piece of metal rusting? The rusting is oxidation, okay? And the same thing applies inside of our bodies. When we are stressed, or when the way that we breathe, right, is suboptimal or dysfunctional. The same way, like when panic attack happens, what's the go-to solution to remediate to that problem is the famous brown paper bag. Why is that so? Because with the brown paper bag, the person experiencing this a state of panic or whatever, which is characterized as a highly volatile experience, can rebalance the ratio of oxygen to carbon dioxide inside themselves by breathing in a brown paper bag. Okay, so it's very important to re-anchor ourselves into where our power lies. Okay, our health is our own responsibility. truly. And it's in relation to my own experience, our health is a process of creation that we have the power to engage with every day, at every moment, right? The intention is what is important. It's not so much what we do, it's how we do it, right? What is the intention behind the various actions that I take? Okay, because intention is what collapses the field of possibility, which is infinite, into that which will become manifested. Another way to understand intention in relation to creation is that intention is the mother of creation. First, you intend something, and by doing so, you collapse the field of what is possible to create into that which will be realized as a manifested creation from your own intention. Take a bow and arrow analogy, right? You have the string and you have the bow, and then when you go into tension, right, you go into resistance. Okay? But the resistance phase is absolutely essential and fundamental in order to have a creation potential, aka do something with our arrow, which in that case would be to propel the arrow towards a desired goal, target, objective, whatever it might be. And the aiming at that target is also part of our intention. Okay, so my intention is to hit the target there. All right, cool. Great Spirit said it being unconditional, no condition. The answer is yes. That's possible. You can create that. All right, now I take the bow, take the string, put the arrow there. First phase is going to be resistance, is going to be the negative polarity, if you want, right? Same way when you go out to the gym and you want to work out and develop strength, first you are going to be experiencing resistance, because that's the way you grow. That's the way you transform. Right? No weight on the bar, no resistance, no growth. Okay, no transformation, no development of strength. Going back to the process of creation, the resistance from the string can be perceived as resistance, but can also be perceived as creative potential. The more resistance you have, the more potential your arrow has to fly in the direction of your target. If you just pull the string of the arrow like that, then your arrow won't fly that far. But the more you go into resistance, the more potential for creation you are going to have. And this also applies to all the other sphere of the human experience, right? Greater the light, greater the shadow, right? The more you go into your shadow and the more you do the internal work of, observing and like self-reflection and paying attention to what is going on internally, most of the time easier said than done, and not that enjoyable or comfortable. Again, going back, nothing grows within the confine of the comfort zone. It's not comfortable to put 400 pounds on the barbell and go squat down, right? It's uncomfortable, but through discomfort comes the possibility for growth and transformation. Same thing applies to the experience of our emotion, or like the various stories that we tell ourselves, or the various behavior that we do. A very important thing too is that the first step in the transformation process or the healing process is awareness. You have to be aware that something is not as it could be, right? If you never accept the fact that you have pain or that you are ill, then you're a long way from starting or initiating the healing process. Okay, so the first step is awareness. Accept the fact that you may not be where you wish to be. Okay, but this is the foundation, and this has to be rooted in truth. Please don't lie to yourself. Be honest towards yourself, because lying is like running on a treadmill, right? You lie to yourself, eventually you don't even realize it becomes automatic, and then you start lying to people outside of yourself without even realizing it, or without even being conscious of it. Okay? Lies, when we lie, it's like if we're running on a treadmill. We spend as much energy and get nowhere. And on the other hand, when we start being honest to ourselves and accepting to face the truth of our present reality, our present position in space and time, right? Then this is analogous to stepping off the treadmill and starting to run on firm ground. All progression is going to be fruitful, and it's going to change you in space. Okay? Truth, lies are the beginning of death, and truth allows to let go. Only once anchored in the truth will you be able to let go of that which no longer serves you. But if you lie to yourself about this or that, then it's going to be hard to let it go, right? You'll never truly be able to be in a position to authentically and honestly transform your experience. We are so much more powerful than we may realize, or that we've been encouraged to believe. The human being is the most sophisticated and incredible and amazing technology ever created, right? We were created in the image of source creation itself. There is nothing that we cannot do. Limitation, however, is where things get fussy and things start acting up. But limitation are only perception. It's perception that we place on our unlimited and infinite potential. Okay? And the narrative that we tell ourselves, the story that we tell ourselves, whether in relation to our past trauma or our fear or whatever situation that we may have had to journey through. Realizing this truth and continuously practicing to return inside of our center, into the now moment, into our heart, with the help of our breath, intention, and movement, is what allows us to snap out from the illusion that we are powerless and that we are limited and that we are finite. Because we are not. But when we forget and start associating ourselves with that which we are not, this opens the door wide open for fear and doubt. And essentially, it externalizes our power outside of ourselves, which is very not good if we desire to have sovereignty and to be in control of our own experience. Because fear and control go hand in hand. That's how it is done, right? When you're fearful, you'll do anything I tell you to do, right? But if you're not in fear, right? If you're anchored in trust and you know who you truly are, you have the power to accept or reject what is being presented in front of you. But if you're chronically hooked in fear, it's not even a possibility for you to reject the information which comes in your field of awareness. You just automatically accept it because you're in fear, you're in survival. You're not present here now. You got lost in the game, which is fine. That's what we're here to do. That's why we're all here walking each other's back home. And I'm here to tell you that it does not have to be like that. And that you are way more powerful than you may be able to imagine. Okay? That's the purpose of a game. Game is created so that we can play and have fun while doing it. And I'm here to help you accomplish just that. So if that resonates, shoot me a message, like, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciated. On to the next one. Much love.